Hello and welcome to Synthnostate video devlog number 2. So what's new? This past week I've been trying to get started on the battleground levels and just doing some code cleanup, model loading, character and item customization, and even fixing some memory leaks, which is the programmer's equivalent of remember to wash your room and wash your penis. And I've been recording more low effort content for this video. Did a little work on my settings system, so I could turn off the music so I don't have to talk over it. So I define all the settings in a JavaScript array, so everything is sort of nested. So we've got a key map menu, a mouse menu, a graphics menu, gameplay menu, sound menu, and so on. And everything's in order. And then down here I just convert that to a nested JavaScript object, or so we can access these in the game, in the JavaScript as like settings dot graphics dot gamma. We use this a lot for colors throughout the game, especially in the GUI. And then there's some settings we have to access from C. Not many, but every time you change the settings, we have to update. Either we have to update all the settings or update just one of them. I used to just update them all at once, even if you're just dragging the music slide, a volume slider. It's pretty inefficient. So I came up with a better way. We just define this C settings array. These are only the settings that need to be updated in C. And then we just define JavaScript C functions and run the setting, and we either update them all through this function, or we just update them one at a time through the settings interface, which isn't the settings GUI, which isn't done yet. But at least we've got this sorted out. And here's what the C side looks like. Just a couple of very simple JavaScript interface functions. Then the scene object is created every time you load a new scene. It creates a new scene object, so we have to call that through the JavaScript scene interface, and that goes through here. So shadow size, number of shadows, that sort of thing, shadow resolution. Yeah, that's basically it. A lot of people ask, how long have you been working on this game? 5 years, maybe 3 good years. Here's a clip from 2 years in. Everything's pretty much all there. I've just had to rethink a lot of the UI, like this grid menu. It was clever but impractical. I could have put out a decent demo at this point 2.5 years ago. In hindsight, I should have been uploading demos as soon as I had guys walking around on the screen. The old rule of thumb is that software projects take twice as long as you think, even when you try to think of every possible cause for delay. So when you start a big project, you just have to be prepared for, what are you going to do when it's dragging out longer than you hoped it would. You can either cancel it or do whatever it takes to finish it. You're going to have to cut features and content with no mercy. Just the bare essentials, because you're always going to have to add things that you didn't think of. Like, I decided to build a party-based, turn-based RPG, and I realized, I actually need a class system. Otherwise, what's the point of having a party if everybody's all pretty much the same? And you absolutely must not second-guess yourself. There have been times where I said, I don't even like turn-based that much anymore. Why don't I just make a first-person action RPG? But then, then you realize, I'm going to need, more detailed faces and environments and textures and the ride never ends. You know, as an indie, you can get away with some old school 3D like...
I hope you're happy.
Maybe you should try getting a job. Don't get any funny ideas.
So long as you don't have any for me.
I've been playing around with some of that in Synthnostate 2 prototypes, but, you know, that's all on the back burner. Don't want to get ahead of myself, gotta finish one thing, then start the next project for real. Or, you know, I could go work on someone else's project. It's tough being in the driver's seat. Or if this game really takes off, then I'll just roll with it and make a turn-based sequel. Take all the same engine and stuff, a few improvements, and just bang out a sequel. Anyway, I gotta finish building some battleground levels with just a bunch of trash combat in them so I can get another demo out. And so for these levels here, they're all underground black sites connected by this tube train, hypertrain thing. So I just want to get it so you can click on that train door and go travel to any of these places, and we'll just add a bunch of NPCs in there, soldier type NPCs. You get near one, they spawn 5 clones of themselves, they all attack you, bada bing, and maybe you get a few weapons and stuff for loot and progress a little, but basically just to test out the combat. Then I've got to finish some graphical interface features, icons, scroll bars, pixel perfect object picking, and polish up the in-game editing features as needed to complete the character's quests and dialogue for the Primrose Path, in which you go along with the NPCs and end up in a lot of combat. Well, that's enough talk. I'm back to work. See you next week.